Number 5. CM Punk walks out of WWE. The story of CM Punk and WWE has always been one of contention, a story of frustrating creative decisions, squandered opportunity, and unreciprocated loyalty that led to one of the biggest controversies in the past decade. At the 2014 Royal Rumble, CM Punk had entered the titular match at number 1, going nearly 50 minutes in the ring. At least some of that time was spent with a concussion delivered by Kofi Kingston, not to mention Punk was apparently dealing with a huge MRSA infection in his lower back that he claims was untreated by the company doctors. Needless to say, the chick magnet was in bad shape. Finally, Corporate Kane forcefully removed Punk from the ring after the Office made repeated attempts to get him to leave, and chokeslammed him to the announce table, and that was the last time WWE fans ever saw the former world champion. The next day, Punk met with Triple H and Vince McMahon, frustrated over his place in the company and what he perceived to be a lack of care toward his well-being. Despite being offered a place of prominence on the card at WrestleMania 30 against Helmsley, Phil Brooks decided enough was enough. Burned out and hurt, CM Punk walked out of WWE before being officially fired that June, on the day of his wedding no less. 5 years, 1 podcast interview, and a defamation lawsuit later, the aftermath of Punk's departure is still felt to this day. Depending on who you ask, Punk is either a martyr or a pariah, and the chance of his name persists, still lingering in some arenas. WWE took the controversy and ran with it, making Triple H and Stephanie McMahon the longest-lasting on- and off-heel authority figures in the company, and helping springboard Daniel Bryan to one of the biggest wins in WrestleMania history.
Talk about the elephant in the room here, is we just read you all of Raw and SmackDown's results, and not once did we mention CM Punk. This has been a developing story all week. Ever since the Royal Rumble, no one's seen Punk. We don't know, where is he? And at first, I think they were trying to say that, oh, maybe he's selling his injuries, that Kane messed him up when he threw him out of the ring or whatever at the Rumble. But then when he wasn't on SmackDown either, and then when they had these 2 qualifying matches for the Chamber and he wasn't in any of them, everyone started wondering what the hell's going on with CM Punk. So this kind of came around about Tuesday night after the tapings when he wasn't on them, all these rumblings.
Yeah.
And come to find out, after doing a little bit of research, people found out that after the Royal Rumble, Punk basically went home, flew home to Chicago, told WWE, fuck you, I'm out, enough of this. And I think that what we need to do is try to at least realistically think from his perspective of, the kind of person he is. He is a very outspoken person. He's gotten in trouble for it a lot of times. And really what this means, okay? Now, first of all, Punk's contracted till July. His contract's up in July.
There's rumors between May and June or somewhere around there.
So he was contracted for
another. If you remember back 3 years ago, that's the contract he made.
Right.
When he was going to go back then.
Right.
He was going to now. 3 years have gone by already.
So he is contractually obligated to work those dates. If he doesn't, he won't get paid for those dates. And for him to kind of just say, fuck it, I'm gone, is a big deal for multiple different reasons. Now, Austin did this back at WrestleMania, what was it, 18, I believe?
2002.
So the reason he did it was because
he was supposed to lose to Lesnar.
They told him
at a Raw
that he needs to lose to Lesnar on Raw, and he had to lose to Scott Hall at WrestleMania. Basically, he was going to go on a losing streak, a horrible losing streak. At that point,
he beat Scott Hall at WrestleMania.
Well, he was supposed to lose to him. Like, that was one of the things.
He did beat Scott Hall, but then later on it was
right.
You got to lose, put over Lesnar without any build or any, just tonight on Raw you lose to Lesnar like out of nowhere. So he said his whole thing was, well, let's do a program where it's like over a couple of weeks and pay-per-view and blah, blah, blah.
So at that point, he kind of did the same thing CM Punk did. Eventually, he did come back, and he did other stuff and they all made up. So Punk, let's just look at the perspective of CM Punk, all right? 3 years ago, he's the hottest commodity in pro wrestling. He was leaving WWE.
He was Daniel Bryan.
He was Daniel Bryan 3 years ago.
And they said, nope, it's not for you, sir.
He was best in the world, crowd completely behind him, came back white hot, wins the title from Cena, leaves the company in a work storyline. They renew his contract, comes back, and literally carries the company for a year and a half.
Well, the main problem is he was the hottest thing in all of wrestling. People were watching wrestling haven't in a long time. He was getting all kinds of outside media attention. Mm-hmm. The fans loved him. He was doing a character that was unique at the time, and instead of going, this is our top guy now, they throw him into a storyline where Kevin Nash comes out,
right,
and power bombs him, which I think right then and there, people should have been like, I'm done with this whole thing. And then, he goes on, they put the belt on him, and he has it for all this time, but I can make the argument that he was the champion for 0 days. He was never the champion.
434 days, but didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything. He held the title. He carried it around, but he would be third on the card.
Right.
He was never the top guy. And there's no real reason, when there's no explanation you could give why he's not the top guy. The only reason would be he can't work, he can't talk, he's not over, the fans don't like him, they're not buying the stuff, whatever.
Right.
All those things were 100%, and that they held him back because that's not their idea of pro wrestling. That's not their vision of what wrestling is supposed to be.
And the thing is...
So he's just another guy, but he has the belt.
The thing is, he actually, it's funny because he says this on his DVD, his WWE approved DVD. In his interviews, he says the reason that he was in WWE was to try to show that someone who's not a big roided monster, someone who might not have the look that Triple H and Steph and Vince think is the top thing, could be the top guy. And what he wanted to do with his run in WWE, he wanted to open the door for people like Daniel Bryan, for people like Dolph Ziggler, for people like them to step up and be able to get the limelight.
There's like, when you watch the show, there's an extreme unfairness. People don't like that. When you that's unfair. Like, and that's the taste you get when you watch the WWE. Why is Daniel Bryan doing this and this guy's there? Why isn't Chris? Years ago, why isn't Chris Jericho? Look at the reaction he gets. Why is Triple H the god? And it's just a bad taste.
Right.
And that's what you always got with Punk. Like, why? And he was just a cog in that, because someone was gonna go, he had the title for all these days. How dare you? They put him over big.
Yeah, but he was never the main
He
event.
was just a cog, and then as soon as Rock committed, they turned him heel, completely changed him, fuck him. They don't do that with top guys. They don't do that. They're not gonna just all of a sudden go Cena turn heel to put over put over someone else.
There you go.
They don't do that. So they turn him heel because Rock's coming back, and he's got to put over Rock twice, carry his ass, and then lose to Undertaker, and there you go. There's no reason why.
Recap Punk's journey since that year and a half of being the champion. Okay, drops the belt to Rock, loses to Rock again, has a great match with Undertaker, but of course loses. But I don't think that's really a bad thing because no one's going to beat the streak at this point.
Yeah, but even that was just so poorly put together. It wasn't even like Undertaker wanted to fight Punk. And you go back to Smark Guys from last year where we talked about this more. But it wasn't like Undertaker comes back, I want CM Punk because he's the best, and I want to beat the best.
Right.
No, they have a shitty
heelish program.
A four-way match where Punk has to win, who just had the belt for 2 years.
Right.
He has to win to earn the spot.
And then he steals the urn. He's running around like a cartoon character.
Paul Heyman's dressed as Paul Bearer and everything, so it was just ridiculous, the whole thing. And then he was obviously just going to lose in the match. And
after that, what did he do? Well, then he goes into a program with Brock Lesnar. Well, no, first it was Ryback, right? No, first it was Curtis Axel. Then it was Ryback.
That went on forever, dude.
Then it was Lesnar, right?
Then it was Curtis Axel again.
Then after that, it was just like the weirdest shit.
The Wyatts were attacking you for no reason.
It was the Shield and the Wyatts, and it was like between 400 different confusing plot lines that you can never even put your fingers around. What the fuck is this going on?
And it looked like, also, if you want to bring up that DVD, you always talked about, I want to headline WrestleMania. It's the last thing I want to do. It looked like that wasn't going to happen this year. They were going to have him versus Triple H.
Well, right now the plot line was him and Kane because of what had happened at the Rumble. And it looked like he'd probably be wrestling Kane for a month or two, and then they would go to him and Triple H at Mania.
And I know the
WWE... which, let's be honest, is Punk really going to go over Triple H at WrestleMania?
Not with his contract coming out in May or June. But to the WWE, like, to Triple H is like this amazing worker. Oh, to them, this is like, you get to work with Triple H. Look at that. That's amazing for you. This is going to be great for you, kid.
Yeah, because it went so good last time, right?
But he's probably like, I got to carry this guy. I got to put this guy on my back. A guy who hasn't worked in a year. Who knows where that's going to be on the card,
Right.
And that shouldn't be what he's doing.
So the way you got to do is put it in perspective of Punk, right? He's thinking, this whole time I've been with WWE, I really tried hard to change things. I tried to show that someone like me, my body type, could be a top guy. I held the title for a record amount of days. But really, what have I accomplished? Look at the past year and a half since I dropped this title and what's been going on in the WWE. And obviously, he's against it. He doesn't believe in what's going on in WWE. He probably has a lot of issues with the stuff that's happening. Now, a lot of the rumors this week was that he specifically left because Dave Bautista was brought in.
No,
I don't believe that for a second.
There's an interview he did on Saturday, the day before the Rumble, at some Comic-Con. I don't know if you guys saw that. But he talks about how Batista's his friend. He likes Batista. So it has nothing to do with that. He also brought up a lot of the things where they don't really know what they're doing or where their things are going.
Yeah.
And he brought up the same thing. Why doesn't Brian get to do this when this guy gets to do that? And
right.
things like that.
So CM Punk, I want you to be perspective here. He had two choices. He could either keep his mouth shut, right? Write out his contract, take the WrestleMania payday, which, by the way, would probably be a big payday for him. Okay.
That's another controversy because now it's on the network.
Well, also I was just going to say.
Now they don't know.
They don't know what they're making.
He even mentioned that in interviews recently.
Yes.
He doesn't know if there's a bonus or how they didn't tell them.
They don't know what they're making now because if you're not taking $80 a pop for a pay-per-view,
how could you do the math?
Where are you getting the bonuses to pay the wrestlers, right? So they don't know. It's very uncertain right now. So he's thinking, I can work Mania, horrible matches coming up with Kane and Triple H. Who knows what crap they'll put me in until my contract's up, right? Or he could be the outspoken person and try to make a political statement like he's tried to do ever since he started with the WWE. And he basically did the ultimate pipe bomb. And this is bigger than any pipe bomb that he could have ever dropped. He said, fuck you. And he left. And he's gone. He's legit gone. Like, a lot of people are thinking, this is a work. He'll come back at WrestleMania. And wait a minute. Think about the last time that his contract was expiring. Remember, it was the main fucking focus of the company that, he's leaving, and it was in every plot line. No, this time, he's gone. He vanished. No mention on Raw or SmackDown. No mention on the website. Like John said, WWE now, in their childish bullshit, unfollow him on Twitter. If you actually go to his Twitter account, anything that's WWE related was removed. No images, nothing. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So he's gone. He said, fuck
There's
this.
There's something weird going on with the wrestling world where everyone thinks everything's a work. The fan attacked Orton in South Africa. That's a work. Everything's a work. Well, some things are works, but these are human beings.
It's pretty easy to tell what's a work and what's
not. It's a real company, and there are things that do occur.
Right.
And the other thing, like a way to figure that out, like what's the payoff? There's always got to be a payoff if something is a work, So what would be the payoff there?
Yeah, what's the payoff? Obviously, they were building a program with him and Kane. The whole Rumble spot was there for a reason, and it's just so much. It's a culmination of so much shit.
If he comes back,
that piles on your shoulders.
If he disappears, it comes back at WrestleMania to fight Triple H. Is that a payoff compared to having him there and then fighting Triple H at WrestleMania?
Right.
So I don't know. You see all kinds of crazy stuff. People, he's an asshole. He should write out the contract. The point I want to make is the contracts are bullshit. They're independent contractors, not employees.
Right.
So even though you have a contract, they could say at any moment you're released, and then you go on that 90-day period where you get paid, but you're going to be fired.
Right.
So the contracts are bullshit anyway, and that doesn't exist in like real entertainment or sports because there's sports entertainment. That doesn't really exist like major sports. There's like guaranteed deals.
Right. If the contract is severed, you get some kind of a severance, a huge settlement. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it happens. You see professional athletes get injured and released, but they make a big payday.
They still get paid.
Versus so this,
there's no entertainment thing where like a movie where you can't do it or something.
Why don't you? I'd love for someone to tell me another professional sport where you have to work the amount that these guys work. You have to travel the amount that they travel. And in CM Punk, let's think about it. In his run, his major run,
he busted his ass. He broke his ass for that.
He took one break for 1 month. That was all he ever took. And you can argue, but what about John Cena and all that? Cena's been injured left and right? But here's the thing, that I like.
Treated with the utmost respect. Almost overboard.
This is what I like about Punk. Punk is the kind of guy, right? He loves wrestling and he stands his ground when it comes to his beliefs. And unlike John Cena, who John Cena has publicly said on TV, his storyline, which is probably true, I love wrestling. I don't know how I would live without being in this ring. I have to be here as much as I possibly can be. I don't ever want to take time off. This is my life. Punk's like, I love wrestling, but I got other shit that, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't my end-all and be-all of my existence.
You can't give Cena as an example because he's the anomaly where he gets everything. And
it's so weird.
He's the poster boy and he makes the most and everything.
So that's what I mean. Like, at least Punk understands there's bigger picture. You know what I mean? Cena is wrestling. Punk is wrestling's very important, but there's bigger picture.
They never treated him right, and all he ever did was work his ass off.
Right.
And everyone appreciated it, and there's no reason why they always held him back.
Like I said,
mean, look how long it took. You go back to 2011. He was already there for a long time before he got to have that chance there.
So, like I said, this was the ultimate pipe bomb. This was the way to really make a political statement. I think that Punk has done, what he needed to do. And whether you love him or you hate him for it, if you're a fan and you wanted to see him through Mania or whatever, maybe you're disappointed. But as a fan of CM Punk and his philosophies and all that stuff, I can't. And here's the thing. I think I would rather have him leave it as it is right now than go through several months of crap storylines, bad matches, him busting his ass, breaking his body to carry these assholes through 4 months of bullshit.
Just so Triple H could put himself over,
right?
And Batista could come back. And
Enough.
It's very easy to sit there and go, "Oh, this guy should do this for me. I'm a fan, and I want to see he should be doing this and that." But you don't know. This is a human being. There's other things going on.
People are very self-entitled.
There's other things going on that we'll never know about, I'm sure. There's all kinds of things happening.
I'm sure there could be other stuff.
You don't know his physical condition. You don't know what it is. So you can't make a judgment like that and be like, he's a dick. He should...
People, especially on the internet, and trust me, I know this from personal experience, people on the internet tend to be very self-entitled, where they think they deserve everything for free when they want it. So a lot of people are ripping CM Punk a new asshole, and I disagree with that whole thing.
I guess you have the right to judge, but you can't really understand what's going on.
Right.
There's probably a few people that do.
And by the way, I'm not saying that what CM Punk did was right. Absolutely not. From a perspective of business, it's completely unprofessional. It's one of the most unprofessional things you can do, because now WWE has to quickly rewrite everything. As we just said, at the Elimination Chamber, you've got Christian and Cesaro, who more than likely weren't going to be in the chamber. What John and I were actually hypothesizing was it probably would have been Punk, and then Kane interjects himself into a spot because he wants to eliminate Punk. And so, it's them two kind of eliminating each other at Elimination Chamber or whatever. And then all of a sudden we have to rewrite everything, bring back Christian. Cesaro kind of gets a little bit of a push there, which is a nice thing. But, now WWE for months, I'm sure they had things, house shows, he's off all house shows. What about all the people who bought tickets just to see Punk? So it is, from a business perspective, it's fucked up. So I'm not saying that that's right what he did. I'm saying I'm not going to run him down and talk shit about him.
He doesn't owe us anything.
Right. I think for the years that he's been in WWE, he's done a ridiculously good job.
They've made more off of him than he ever made from them.
Right.
That's how any situation, your boss always makes more off of you.
You can't see it, but right here I've got the 434-day plaque hanging above my living room. Regardless if Punk ever returns to WWE, that will always remain something that I'll keep as a keepsake of the fact that this guy did amazing things, stood on his laurels, and went out his way.
And he could come back at some point. I think short term he's going to be gone. Long term, you never know.
Austin did. I mean, Austin's he always comes back. So
Austin, he got more though. They gave him more though. I think Punk, there's a disrespect factor that he feels.
Yeah, I feel that
They held him back for so many years. Mm-hmm. He finally broke out on his own, and then they still had to fuck that up.
Well, you see, here's what it is. I think with Austin, it's the same situation, but when Austin was getting to the point where they were going to start disrespecting him, that's when he said, fuck you, and he left.
The only reason...
Punk put up with it for years.
Yeah.
That's the difference here.
Well, Austin would have never gotten pushed in the first place if, they had no choice.
Right. Well, that's true, too.
So that'd be like if Cena and, a few other people left, they'd be like, all right, Punk, we have to go with Punk,
All right.